Whispers of a Broken Heart. Chapter 1. The Beginning of Forever. Ethan and Claire met under a setting sun, the city lights flickering to life as their love story began. It was the kind of love that felt written in the stars, an unspoken promise in every glance, every touch, every whispered "I love you." They had dreams, a life together, a home filled with laughter, and the kind of love that grows stronger through time. Through struggles and hardships, they held on to each other. When money was tight, Ethan worked extra shifts and Claire stayed up late waiting for him. When Claire's mother passed away, Ethan held her as she cried, never leaving her side. "I'll never leave you," he promised one night as they lay under the stars. "No matter what." Claire smiled, believing every word, but not all promises are meant to last. Chapter 2. The slow cracks life, as it often does, began to test them. Ethan's work demanded more of him. Late nights, early mornings. The space between them grew, not in distance, but in silence. Claire tried to reach him, tried to hold on to the man who once whispered love into her ear, but he became a shadow, distracted, restless. Then came the whispers, rumors she didn't want to believe. "Ethan's been seen with someone else," her friend muttered one evening, hesitating. "A woman, more than once." Claire laughed it off at first. "That's impossible. He loves me." But doubt began to gnaw at her heart. Chapter 3. Lies and Deception. One night, Ethan came home smelling of perfume that wasn't hers. Claire stood in the doorway, heart pounding. "Who is she?" Ethan's eyes widened for only a second before his expression turned cold. "What are you talking about?" "Don't lie to me, Ethan. I need the truth." He sighed, running a hand through his hair. "You're overthinking things, Claire. You're being paranoid." But Claire knew. She felt it. Love doesn't need proof. It just knows. Chapter 4. The Ultimate Betrayal. One rainy evening, Claire followed her instincts, and her heart shattered. She saw them together, Ethan and another woman holding hands, their laughter stolen from the love he once gave her. She wanted to scream, to run, to beg for an explanation, but she stood in the rain, frozen. He had promised, and promises were supposed to mean something. When Ethan returned home that night, Claire was waiting. "How long?" she asked, her voice barely above a whisper. He didn't answer right away. And that silence? It was louder than any confession. "A few months," he finally admitted. Claire closed her eyes as if that would lessen the pain. "Why?" Ethan looked away. "I don't know. I didn't mean to. Stop," she cut him off. "You don't get to make excuses." Chapter 5. The Test of Love. Ethan begged for forgiveness. He swore he still loved her, that he'd leave the other woman. Claire wanted to walk away. But love makes fools of us all. So she stayed. She gave him another chance. But love with cracks is never the same. Ethan tried, but the damage was done. Claire couldn't trust him the way she once did. Every time he was late, her mind raced. Every time he touched her, she wondered if he had touched someone else the same way. She was drowning in love that had turned into a prison. Chapter 6. The Final Goodbye. One night, Claire stood at the window watching the city lights flicker. Ethan was asleep in their bed, but she felt more alone than ever. She realized something heart-wrenching but true. Love isn't just about staying. Sometimes love is knowing when to leave. She packed her things quietly, leaving behind the ring he once gave her, the symbol of a promise that had been broken beyond repair. She didn't leave a note. She didn't need to. Ethan woke up to an empty bed, his heart pounding as he called her name. But she was gone. For the first time, he truly felt the weight of his choices. And that was the tragedy. He had only realized what he lost when it was too late. Epilogue. A love that lived and died. Claire moved on. It took time, but she healed. She learned that love is not about holding on to someone who doesn't cherish you, but about knowing your worth. Ethan lived with regret, knowing he had destroyed the one thing he thought would always be there. And in the end, their love wasn't lost in anger or hate, but in the quiet understanding that some things, no matter how much we want them to, can never be fixed. If this story made you feel something, hit like and subscribe for more stories.